For founders, visibility isn't a nice side project. It's part of how you win work, build trust, and set the tone for everything your company does. Our next session is all about that founder lens. Dave Stubberfield is the founder of Carter Consultancy, and Sarah Bone is co founder and CMO of Yo Messaging. And they've used LinkedIn as a key channel to share honestly about the reality of building and growing their businesses. In this conversation, we look at what cutting through the AI noise really means for founders, telling the truth rather than the highlight reel, using lived experiences to build connection, and bringing AI into the creative process without losing the human edge. Dave, Sarah, fantastic to have you here today. Thank you for coming. So let's dive straight in. When did you first realize showing up on LinkedIn wasn't just a nice to have, but actually an essential part of your marketing strategy?
When we first launched Yo, we actually were a consumer product. And so LinkedIn was kind of light touch. And when we pivoted to B2B, we obviously realized that we needed to start utilizing it more. And it wasn't until we launched a crowd fund that we realized that when we were posting from our personal accounts, as well as the company account, we were getting a lot more eyes and more traction and engagement on the personal posts. So it kind of made us rethink things and think, hang on a minute, there's something in this. We need to really make this part of our marketing strategy. And it was around that time that we really started to use it more in that sense.
A little bit on LinkedIn, and I was talking my own language that I understood. And a friend of mine turned around and said, "It's great, Dave, what you're doing, but what do you actually do?" And I was like, "Right, okay. I need to think about this strategically and not just post stuff out. It's not just about being visible, it's being very precise in what you're trying to say." So it didn't take long to realize that I need to do this. It's all well and good putting content out there, but it needs to be content that people are actually going to engage with. So, and that's probably when I pivoted more towards LinkedIn as well.
Sarah, your product sits in privacy, AI, and security. And these are complex areas that rely on trust. When did you start seeing that your own visibility could help people understand and trust what you're building?
So, I mean, cybersecurity, obviously being an industry, it requires trust. It's like it's the backbone of what we're doing. So I always found that people believe and trust more in people rather than a company. So yeah, I
Mm.
think it's if we can, as people, share our stories and our why and our reason to why we're using it and what was kind of the original idea as to why we started it, it makes people understand it more and therefore build more trust in the person rather than in the company itself. Obviously, you can get um, reviews or you can get people talking about it as well. But I think if you are, as a founder, the person that is talking about it the most, that's where you're really going to start seeing more trust.
Dave, I mean, you've been posting long before you launched your own business. Did that visibility help when you finally made the leap?
Massively. And I think it kind of, to Sarah's point there, it's the people piece. People see me posting and the things I do and how I help teams, companies, individuals, departments. I think that gives credibility and authority that people go, "Oh, Dave knows what he's talking about." And I think I might be the face of Carter Consultancy, but at least Carter Consultancy isn't a faceless company. So I think being front and center of that has really enabled me to hit the ground running with the business.
So it's really about people being the face of the business. B2B marketing can feel like a sea of sameness, polished, predictable, safe. I mean, how difficult is it for founders to genuinely stand out today?
I think it's really interesting. I've just rekindled Stubby's top tips that I do on a Tuesday, and that is just me talking. And I used to sit there in my bedroom. I'd used to get the ring light, and I would get that sort of in the right position, and I'd make sure I look very presentable. I still do that, but I do it from this room that's now an absolute mess, which is why it's blurred out. And I'm kind of being real. I'm being authentic. I'm being myself. I think sometimes it's very, very clear when people are using stuff that's so scripted that it feels impersonal. Or you've got people that are, this is the bit that really gets me, is the AI written content.
Mm.
We've used it so much over the past year or so that you can see the signs of when something has been written by AI. And that for me is, that screams to me, okay, you put a picture of yourself with it maybe, but you've not written that post. So I quite like the kind of the video content. I love that, the ability to be able to be myself. And I think sometimes when you're doing a video as well, you can make mistakes, and you've got a series of outtakes that you can use, that if you wanted to, you can say, look, this is me trying to record this video, and it's not right 100% of the time. um, so I think trying to stand out is the aim of the game, but I think you have to be yourself.
I mean, I feel like I need to go dust off my ring light now because we found in the past as well, video content obviously always works, and I think it is that real human element. I mean, my background is marketing, and so for me, it's what I think always stands out is when someone tells their actual human real life story rather than, just being like, these are a bunch of features, go try them out, I love them, or whatever. It's like, if you can tie it back to something that's happened or why you started it, or that one piece that makes it more human and personal, I think that always really works. I always tell for instance, for Yo, we started it, for several kind of ideas, but mine was always, I was actually targeted on a social media hack, basically, and it was someone impersonating me, and so it that was my why, and I always kind of like lean into it a bit, even though it's a bit embarrassing sometimes. I'm like, oh god, I've got to talk about myself again, but it actually lands, and it people really respect that you're open about things and real, basically.
Okay, let's talk outcomes. What tangible impact has being active on LinkedIn had for your business? Clients, partnerships, opportunities? I mean, Sarah, how's that working for you?
I mean, even this is an opportunity, right? We found each other on LinkedIn from me posting and connecting via that platform. So, for us, leveraging our founders and our anyone within the company, just empowering them to be brand advocates and having their own voice, I think has worked wonders for us. Whether it's getting leads for sales, or whether it's having opportunities like speaking or thought leadership articles, or anything like that, or even I feel we've even had people reach out and say, can you give us a comment for this press article that we're doing? So for us, it's opened a lot of doors, and it's just given us our business a lot more visibility.
So that's all coming through LinkedIn, as far as you can see.
I would say LinkedIn has been the main source, and even for sales, it's been one of our main kind of platforms that we use. Uh, but yeah, obviously we have a few other things that we do. We'll be
Yeah, yeah.
pitching press and things like that. But yeah, I would say LinkedIn has been a great platform for us.
Yeah, it's been massive. And I think I could say an answer very, very similar to Sarah's, but I think something for me is connecting with other thought leaders in my space and going, that's a really interesting take. And I would take that, put my framing around it, and then create my own article. And I might reference that in it, or I might sort of refer to it. But what I've done there is I've leveraged a community that's, we
Mm.
might then connect after that as a result, and we might say, what opportunities are there for us to collaborate? Could this be a long-term strategic partnership? You kind of, there's so many untapped doors that there could be. You could go into measures and metrics in a bit too much granularity.
I mean, you mentioned earlier someone finally understood what you do. Did that visibility lead to new work?
Massive. There was another one recently as well that I posted, and someone messaged on the back of that and said, Dave, I remembered your workshop you did for me years and years and years ago. I just couldn't remember your name. And then you popped up on LinkedIn and I messaged you. Fantastic. Like, if you're not visible and you're not there, people are going to forget you exist.
Do you think AI tools are actually changing how people show up on LinkedIn?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I always have this like ongoing debate with myself of like, am I becoming lazy, or like, am I just utilizing this because it's there? And why would I not? Because I mean, the level of output that you're able to achieve with the support of an AI is like twofold. Like, I mean, it's ridiculous how much stuff we can pump out now. But I yeah, I would say that it helps, but I have everything from like Grammarly to helping me make sure I'm not making
Mm.
spelling mistakes to like Motion for my calendar and things like that. But for content, I would say yes, I use it for ideation. And I have, obviously, I'm going to put my hand up and say I have used it for posts in the past. It's definitely something I've slipped into and thought, it doesn't sound right. And then I kind of almost get annoyed with myself and want to delete it. But yeah, I definitely would say it's helped me with my creativity and being more consistent and kind of pumping out things quicker than I could have before.
I think that ideation piece is probably the thing I use most for it. I would sit there and go, "What shall I write about today?" And
Yeah.
I'm staring at a blank screen and put it into Chat GPT, and it'll say, "Here's 10 topical things you could talk about." Brilliant, thanks. And again, in the past, I would have gone, "Write a post about this for me," and I would take that and
Mm.
I wouldn't copy and paste that directly because there are going to be bits in it I go, I don't agree with that, or my take's slightly different. So let's chop change
Mhm.
that. I don't like how that's written. So blah blah blah. So you might have got the kind of the wireframe of what that post is, but then you add your own personality to it. And I think that's the key bit for it for me. I step away from that now, and it is just purely ideation. It's kind of what can I create?
I mean, there's a danger, isn't there? I mean, that if you use AI to write, even, I don't know, a first draft, it immediately starts sounding too polished. Was that part of the reason you both stopped using it to write?
Yeah, I mean, especially for my area, you can really slip into like tech jargon and like terms that I question. I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, where did that come from? And then I'm like, okay. So my rule is now that if I wouldn't feel comfortable sending it in a text message to someone, or if I wouldn't feel comfortable actually reading it out loud and saying it, then I don't think I should be posting it. So I think there's also it becomes very samey, and I want to stand out. I don't want to sound like everybody else.
I mean, is there anything you do, Dave, to make sure your posts still sound like you when you've used AI for ideation?
For me, I try to add humor in wherever I can, and that's probably at my own expense sometimes as well. Um, and I think for me, it's that being personable, being vulnerable a little bit as well. It's not showing that everything's always sunshine and roses. There are bad days. There are things that take a dip. So if you can relate to people like that and showcase that, we spoke about before hitting record here that we all wanted to take a drink. I did a talk back in March, and my voice gave up on me in a room with 25 people and 200 people watching online.
Mm.
You just have to embrace it. It happened. You can't fix it. And I've posted a video since to say not everything goes to plan, and I've taken that little snippet where it didn't go right because yes, the content left and right of that was great, but that's the bit there that some people go, oh, poor Dave, he lost his voice there. And
Mhm.
I think if you're trying to polish it too much, you won't publish anything because you're just going to be stuck in this kind of perfection mode. I think for me, that's if you can just be yourself and let your guards down a little bit. I think in a world of AI as well, that the talking out loud, the sentence that gets me is in today's business landscape at the very start, and I'm like, yeah, that's I would not.
Sarah, you've said empathy and emotional intelligence can really help content come alive. I mean, do you think that the same empathy helps your posts feel more human?
Yeah, I think I mean, it's very much what Dave just said. I think it's being real. It's, you make mistakes, you can talk about them. You have a bad day, you can talk about them. It's just, yeah, being human. That's what it is. And that's what people are always going to relate to. They want that. that's, I feel content where you're being, the content that I share, that I'm giving it real, this is me, unapologetically. Maybe I share a photo with it as well. That always gets a lot more impressions and a lot more engagement than just me being like, oh, I'm going to this event, or
Mm.
it's the real stuff that people care more about.
Let's get back to the theme of the summit, beyond the beige. What does beige look like in your world, and how do you avoid becoming it?
What a question. I think for me is there's a lot of people that do what I do, and they're out of the box, off the shelf solutions. So, you've got this problem, use this. And for me, it's all about people. It's understanding their wants, their needs, the problems, what they'd love to have in their business, maybe their life as well. It could be a work life balance. And it's understanding that. And I think if you can be that person when you're posting content out and people get an understanding for your tone, even in the written word, that they go, "Yep, I get Dave. He gets me." That's the bit for me that makes me feel like I'm not Paige, and I don't want to be one of these boutique consultancies that goes, "Yep, we can do that for you. That's a day's work." And how long's a piece of string? Sometimes you
Mm.
find that we need that one day, but we need some follow up after. And I think if you can bring that across in your content as well to really resonate that with people, I think that's for me is how the best thing to avoid is not try and copy what everyone else is doing. In my world of customer experience, Apple's a great one. A lot of people see Apple as kind of the go-to. We should just copy Apple. HP
Right.
do it and failed miserably because they're HP, they're not Apple. So be yourself. Don't try and follow the industry trends or the norms. Just you've got to create content that's true to you.
Sarah, what does beige look like in the cybersecurity?
I Cybersecurity is, I don't want to say it's already beige, but it is like, it's not the most sexiest of industries, I would say. So it's, I think for me, it's a company that doesn't push their people in front. I think that staying safe, don't have like, not having a voice of your own and just looking very similar to everybody else. It's very easy to just fit in that, playing it safe world. I think it's harder and more exciting for a brand if they put people out there, or maybe they've got an opinion that's a bit different. Share it, don't be scared. Just, you know I think that for me would be getting yourself out of the being beige. But I also think, sorry, I was going to just add one more thing. I think for myself, I sometimes find that, as I said before, some of my posts I might think, oh, they might become a little bit beige or whatever. Like maybe they're becoming a bit boring or a bit too playing it safe. And I always think at that stage, whenever I have those thoughts, I think, okay, let's go back to the why. Why did I start this? Why are we doing this? And that always kind of like reignites um, new, fresh ideas and ways and motivation to kind of get out of the beige zone.
So, what's one small thing someone could do this week to stay visible, credible, and human, especially with so much sameness and AI driven content around?
I mean, I said it earlier, I'm going to dust off my ring light, and I'm basically taking your point, Dave. I'm sorry. But yeah, I think it's just putting yourself out there more, and doing it in a way that's showing you and your personality. And it's not just content that's being drafted with a picture. It's actually you talking to camera and talking to your customers and connecting to them in that way. I think video content, real human video content, is going to really only ever increase and get more visibility for you.
That was exactly my thought. But why do you think more people aren't doing that? Do you think people feel scared?
It's a bit daunting, just talking to yourself on on a screen and putting yourself out there in that way. But Yeah, I think once you're over that initial hurdle of like, okay, I'm talking to myself now, here we go. And, after you get over it, it's fine.
I mean, Dave, what would you advise founders who are looking to grow their visibility?
I'm going to take it a step further than what Sarah suggested, and I'm going to say just film a raw video. Don't worry about the ring light. Just record. You could be walking the dog. You could be sat at your desk, and you could just be, "This is me. This is what I'm doing today." I did one at an expo not too long ago, and I had people walking past me, looking at me, going, "Wow, look at that guy filming himself. What a weirdo." But ultimately, I wasn't doing it for them. I was doing it for my LinkedIn audience. And again, some people are going to be interested in it, some people are not. But the fact is that I'm there. I had to do about 10 retakes because I didn't know what I was saying and it was just a bit garbled. But at the end of the day, don't take it too seriously. I think for me, if you're, that's the first step. The next step is then to kind of go, right, okay, if we're going to do a series of these, what are they going to look like? What are they going to feel like? The first step, I think, is just to record something really, really raw.
What bit of common LinkedIn advice you ignore and why?
Um, I want to say, so I've keep on hearing mixed views on this, on adding hashtags and adding call to actions, because I did a LinkedIn training a few months ago, and they were like, "Don't use hashtags anymore." And then I was like, "But it feels weird." So I still add hashtags because I feel like it's what I learn. And, even if someone tells me not to, I feel like that's something I always kind of ignore and do whatever. And I feel like a lot of people always tell you to always add a call to action or always have a link or always have something. And I don't think that you need to always. I think it's quite nice to have it as just a thought and leave it at that.
Dave, is there something you ignore too?
I agree with that. A bit of advice I was given recently, which I totally disagree with, is don't engage with anyone that's not going to help grow your business. And the point of that was coming, who's going to buy from you. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm, I don't agree with that at all because anyone could buy from me at any point. If I engage with someone to say congratulations on the new job role, they might go, "Oh, thanks, Dave. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing this. We might need you." And cool, brilliant. That might happen. It might not. And for me, I'm going to engage with who I want to engage with. If there's a point there that I strikes a chord with me, then I'm going to comment or I'm going to congratulate someone on a job well done or something they've achieved. I'm going to engage with everyone. But yeah, I think for me that's the bit. Another one that stands out for me is the algorithm and not posting too much too frequently. I personally let that get in my head sometimes and stop myself from posting. There could be something that happens in a day and go, "Oh no, I've already posted today," and I'm trying to get myself out of that because it could be beneficial for someone else. So yeah, heeding my own advice.
So it's not about the algorithm, it's about doing what feels right for you, showing up and overcoming the barriers.
Yeah, definitely.
Dave, Sarah, thank you so much for coming today. That was fantastic. You've shown that for founders, leading out loud is less about being polished and more about being believable. I mean, your stories make the idea of showing up feel much more human and much less like a performance. So I really appreciate you sharing so openly. Thank you both.